I have made an important scientific discovery in the field of macroeconomics. My results, presented briefly here, along with the supporting evidence, are as follows. There is an undeniable negative correlation between the height of trousers and the level of national debt. Consider illustration 1, taken from a 1930 advertisement for trousers in a men's magazine. As you might notice, the length of the waist reaches well below the masculine pseudo-milk-glands. In 1930, the US national debt was a mere 17% of the GDP. In the 1940s, the US national debt reached a peak of about 100%, but that could be attributed to the effects of World War II. Trousers continued to remain as high as one's mammary glands well into the 50s and 60s. As such, the US national debt continued to fall. Expressed as a percentage of the GDP, this was 86% in 1950, 64% in 1955, 54% in 1960, and 43% in 1965. Even in the 80s, when men's pantaloons had reached a point just below the navel, women's jeans and trousers reached an all-time high, terminating just below their bosoms. The increase in female jeans' length was more than enough to offset their shortening of men's buttwear. The US national debt was a mere 31% in 1980 and continued in the 30 to 40% range well until the late 80s. By contrast, the 21st century saw the rise of trousers that barely reached a man's pelvis. The US national debt reached 80% in 2009 and 90% in 2010. At the height of saggy trousers crisis in 2012, the US national debt reached a crisis point of 99%. As of writing of this paper, the author has been unable to find a pair of jeans that would comfortably contain both his buttocks and his enormous horse-like genitalia. It is no wonder that the US national debt has reached an unheard of 125% of the GDP. The implications are not lost on the economically minded. Hiking up your trousers and sound fiscal policy go hand in hand. Thus, if you wish to improve your country's fiscal affairs, you hike them up higher than the Eiffel Tower. Unfortunately, when presented with the evidence, most reputable journals refuse to publish the results. This inevitably hints at a conspiracy at the highest level of academic publishing, intended to bury the results of my esteemed scientific work, and keep nations forever in poverty. It is therefore that I have resorted to the last refuge of the scientifically forlorn, self-publication. For the sake of all that is decent, my chums, they do not want you to know this. I beg of you, please share the results of my endeavors with others, lest they be relinquished to the dung heap of oblivion, and they get what they want. Also, tune in next week for a discussion of how the GDP per capita rises as the level of pantaloons fall. Respectfully yours, Leader of Her Majesty's Tinfoil Hat Brigade, H.M.